my daughter said, I want to be rich. And then I said, rich means you go buy a Mercedes when you can't afford it. And wealthy means that you drive a Subaru when you can afford 10 Mercedes. So with that, I think we should go into our first guess, which is a police officer for over 25 years. And he saw victimization and sought the truth. That is why he started Financial Fortress Builders. It is his passion to teach his financial truth so people don't become financially victimized. Wow, that's powerful stuff. He accomplishes this mission by providing education and support to his clients so they can afford more informed decisions to build their own financial fortress. Next slide, please. Oh my gosh, I'm lost, Tracy.
It is his desire to help people build and keep their personal wealth. Brian is a licensed insurance agent and an authorized practitioner of the infinite banking concept. He is also a member and ambassador of the Hartford Chamber of Commerce and a member of the Hartford Rotary Club and volunteers for Interfaith and has 2 beautiful grown daughters who are both nurses.
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So,
Cool, mama.
Brian, tell us about the MEC rule and why is that important to understand?
Well, the MEC, or short for Modified Endowment Contract, is a rule that came up in the late 80s. Prior to this rule, you could put unlimited amounts of money into a whole life policy and get all sorts of tax benefits. The people who did not benefit from that, though, was the government. So they had to step in and make a rule to say, you can't benefit that much tax-wise if we don't get any piece of the pie. So they made this rule saying you can only put so much money into a policy now, so you don't get as much of a benefit. Now, I don't know about you, but to me that means life insurance is a good place to put money, not a bad place, as so many people seem to say, or isn't all the noise out there.
So, Brian, can you get ahead financially without taking on more risk, without working harder or changing your lifestyle? That is a great
Absolutely. And
question.
that's why I love doing what I do. I teach people the real secrets of money, how money works. You don't have to invest to get ahead financially. When you understand how to turn your money over and over again, that gives you a bigger pool of money. And then there's no risk to that other than you just doing what you got to do. You don't have to change your lifestyle. You don't have to eat beans and rice and beans if you don't want to. So there's plenty of ways to get ahead financially without having to take more risk, work any harder to have more jobs, more money coming in, or anything like that.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
What are some
Go ahead.
the pros and cons of typical retirement plans?
Well, the typical retirement plans are your qualified plans, your 401k, your IRAs, and things like that. I guess a pro is it's kind of a forced savings plan. You start a job, they automatically offer this, you put money in there. Okay, fine. Well, what are some of the cons? Well, I like to ask this question and I'll ask you guys, let's be in business together. The parameters of this business, Tracy, you and I are going to be in business. We're going to be partners. You're going to take all the risk. You're going to fund all the money. You're going to manage this on a day-to-day basis. And then sometime in the future, I'm going to say, hey, Tracy, we're partners. Remember, I now want my share, and here's what my share is. Do you want to be in business with me? You put all the money, all the risk, you manage it, and sometime in the future, I'm going to say, I want my share, and this is what my share is. Do you want to be in business with me?
I think I'd need to ask more questions.
Okay.
So that would be a no right now.
Pardon me?
So that would be a no right now.
Okay. And that's kind of what these qualified plans are. I mean, we're putting money in there now. We don't know what our tax bracket's going to be. Our partner is the Internal Revenue Service, and we don't know how much they're going to take of our portion that we've worked so hard to save. So that's one of the cons. Not only that, but a dollar is worth more today than it will be in the future. And guess what? That's when we get taxed from these plans, is in the future when our dollar is worth less. Just some reasons why I think those are cons versus some other options.
When somebody's working with you with your business, what can they expect? How does your process go?
Well, my main thing is called the infinite banking concept, private family banking. It has a number of different names. What I do is I design a whole life policy, since we now know those are a good place to put money, to be cash value rich and death benefit poor. It's a concept, the infinite banking concept. We happen to use a whole life policy as your banking system. I want to make sure people understand the concept first. So they should read one of two books that I offer. I can either give them, sell them, or they can get online, which is Becoming Your Own Banker by Nelson Nash. It's my second Bible. I've read it 11 times so far. Or The Banker's Secret to Permanent Family Wealth by John Commuta. Read those, watch some YouTubes. Let's have a chat, but I want people to understand this before we go too far forward. And once they do that, we're going to start working on some things with them. We could maybe work on a plan to pay off debt and create wealth at the same time with this concept. We may just store the money right now and then use it later to finance things. We finance everything we buy, whether you pay cash or get a loan. People have to understand that. Maybe it's cash flowing assets that you purchase later on, whatever the case may be. But it's an educational process. They want to understand the concept. I help them do that. And then we work on getting a policy put together for them and get the system going.
That's great that you have all that education in place.
Yeah.
It's
really
needed. There's so many times I hear people say, or been asked, if what do you wish would have been taught in school? Finances, money. We weren't taught those things back in school. So that's why I say I teach the real secrets of money. We need to understand how money works. Not that we should have a love of money, but we should understand how it works and work it better in our lifetime. That's all.
Just a brief overview. I guess I just don't understand how an insurance policy like this works. Could you give me like 3 bullet points of if I invest today, how it's going to benefit me in 10 and 30 years? 20.
Sure,
it was that long.
Okay, well, first of all, you're not investing. If you put money in a checking account, are you investing in checking? You're just buying an insurance policy that's designed for this concept. We have to store our money somewhere. Under our mattress, in a tin can, IRA, 401k, savings checking, whatever. So we just store some money in a life insurance policy. When it's in there, we take a loan against it. So that means it stays in there, it grows and compounds and still goes up in value while we're using it. We pay it back as we do other loans. Now we have our money back in our system to use again. So we're recycling our money, turning money over and over again, which is why we don't have to take more risk or do any investments we don't want to, So we store money in a policy. We teach you how to take a loan against it, pay it back as you would other loans, and then just rinse and repeat. And that gives you a bigger pool of money as time goes on.
How do you get those loans? Is there, let's say I'm wealthy in 10 years. Okay, let me rephrase that. When I am wealthy in 10 years and I don't have a 9-to-5 job, how do I get that loan? Is it just because the equity is there so I can take a loan against it, or how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the beauties of it. Yeah, you're in complete control. It's a one-page loan application. Your name, your policy number, how much you want of the equity you have in the policy. They don't ask what it's for. They don't run your credit. They says, here's your money, and then you go take and buy whatever you're going to finance.
What's the interest rate compared to good deals that are out there?
That's an interesting question, and I'm going to answer it with a question if that's okay.
Okay.
If the interest rate is 6%, but your money is growing at 4%, does it make sense to borrow at 6 if your money grows at 4?
You just tell me the answer.
Probably not.
This is a trick question. And
Most people say no.
Okay.
But see, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. Your money always compounding, going up. Uninterrupted compounding is the 9th wonder of the world. So when your money is growing at 4% in my example, it's always going up. The 6% loan is going to come down. They're going to intersect, and the 4% will outpace the 6%. So just a little educational tip. But for the company I use, they're charging 5%. Now, and I actually bought a car through my policy at 5%. I could have gotten a loan at the dealer or credit union for maybe 2.5%, 3%. It was more important for me to pay a little bit extra in interest and have $15,000 back in my system to use again, instead of never to see it at $15,000 like pretty much everybody else will be like.
Yeah, this idea is making my head spin, and it's great because I just don't get it. But if I see it, it's going to be fantastic because I can see how this really could be useful to build wealth.
Right. I mean, we're already involved in the banking function in our life. Someone else is just doing it for us and making money, a lot of money off of us. I teach you how to be the bank and how to turn your money. Yeah, it's a process. It's a learning process, but that's what I help you with.
That's fantastic.
That's great. Yeah.
So do you have
He has a book he wants to give away.
that? Get out of town. So Kim is going to handle all of the book mailing process. And Kim's going to get you the address and everything, Brian, or Tracy will. I am officially fired from book mailing. So
Hook it up.
So Kim's going to pick our winner from somebody in our audience at 10:45. So if you want to join in to win this book, put a thumbs up or something in the chat.
okay. Well, this is fantastic. I think we're going to go and we're going to bring Andrea in right now, aren't we?
Yes, we are. We're going to get all sorts of financial stuff.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Brian, for coming.
No, thanks again for having me. I appreciate it.
But I think before we have Andrea on, we are going to do one little thing here. There we
And
go.
a networking report.
That's what we got to do. That's what we got to do. And so we're going to go ahead and let Kim take over and rock that networking report.